I actually have something that I've been working on for quite some time now. It's taken a little longer than it should have, but it's done, it's finished, and I'm so excited to show y'all, because I think not only will y'all enjoy it for your own usage, right, but I think it's also a great resource for the stream, which is something I'm going to show y'all right now. It's basically a website similar to those, like, okay, let's say maybe you've heard of Goodreads, maybe you've heard of Letterboxd, which is for movies, Goodreads for books. There's a lot of websites that are dedicated to like cataloging things. And so this one is for gaming, which is really, really fun. And so I went ahead and went through all my streams using TwitchTracker, all my streams, all of them, and made a comprehensive list or journal of sorts that chronicalizes all my playthroughs throughout. This does not have anything to do with my personal playthroughs. There's no way for me to keep up with that, even if I wanted to. I'd rather just have a backlog dedicated to the streams, and you know, something like that, which is really, really sweet. So here's Backlogged. It's really, really cool. Your front page is gonna have your top 5. So this is my top 5 favorite games of all time. That's hard because there are so many games I love. Age of Empires is something I've been playing since I was a child. I play it all the time, still do. So that's the gold edition specifically. That's the one I grew up with, which had the original Age of Empires and the expansion, Rise of Rome. The Beatles Rock Band, we did a stream not so long ago, and y'all could tell just my love for that game and the music that's in it. It's something that I hold very dearly to my heart. BioShock being my favorite game of all time. Hands down, I can tell you right now, BioShock 1 is my favorite game of all time. That's why it gets the crown. Final Fantasy X, which I streamed with you guys. I'd never played a Final Fantasy game before, and that was my first one, and it absolutely impacted me in a very good way. And I just felt like it deserved to be in my top 5s. And then Silent Hill 3, which was kind of my introduction to survival horror. That was my very first experience playing through a survival horror game. And that's really special to me, too, for a lot of reasons. But that's one of them. And that's my favorite game. So you can have a top 5. It's really, really sweet. And then my recently played, which obviously are the games I've recently played on stream. Again, this is all going to be dedicated to the streams. If we go to my games list, for example, these are the games I have played. Only 2 pages, believe it or not. Since we do stream games usually one time every week, kind of makes sense. But you can see back here all the way from Cube 2, the very first stream. You can just kind of go through page 1, all the way to where we are now. That one's a little out of place. That should have been a little further back, but I forgot to put Phasmophobia in there. So it's a little annoying. I would have to go through and like reset my journal, and I spent so much time already. It's fine. It's fine. It'll do. But other than that, everything is in the order it should be, in the order as we played it. Of course, right here, here's the games we are playing. And these are games that I've shelved, right, that I'm going to come back to. You can see Zonky Zero's there. I'm going to do Silent Hill 2 eventually, just because we didn't get the ending I wanted, so I'd love to return to it. So on and so forth. These are all games that I would love to return to that we've played before, and maybe give it a full-on playthrough or another playthrough. Obviously, Chorus, we have the push to 100% to look forward to, so that's going to show up in my backlog. That's how I use the backlog. You can do it any particular way you want. That is how I'm choosing to do it. And of course, if you'd like to build a wish list, you have one. So, anybody can make one, free to set up. There's your homepage. You can review the games and all that good stuff. In fact, yeah, let's take a look at what it looks like when you click on a game. So here's Kirby and the Forgotten Land. You can see the average rating. You can see people's reviews. Pretty fun. People are usually pretty chill here. There are some memey, jokey reviewing things going on. Every now and then you get a jerk. But like for the most part, you know, pretty thoughtful stuff. I enjoy it. You can see more reviews. There's obviously going to be a ton for a game like this. You can look at the lists that the game will show up in. So these are lists that people create. You can create a log. And this is what this looks like. Very cool thing. Let's just say I've played it before, right? So you go to your options. I can say I own it physically. I do not. You don't have to worry about time played. Whenever you're filling out, you could do it here, but it's much easier if you are going to fill out the journal. Like, you can log each day you play a game and how long you played it, and it'll add it up here. You don't even have to do it. It'll do the math for you. I'll show you what I mean. So let's say Nintendo Switch, you could write a review if you want. You can rate it. Go to your playthroughs. Let's pick a day. I started playing today. You're going to click on this now. And here you go. So I can leave a note for myself. First time. Loved it. Something like that. You can keep it only for private, just for yourself. You can make it friends only or public. And let's say I played the game for 2 hours, 30 minutes. You're going to update it. Got it. Now I'm going to edit my playthrough. Start date, you just click it once. Since you have a start date, you can start it there. Whenever you finish the game, you do the same thing. You can either choose if it was the first time or if it was a replay. First time. Update the playthrough. Create the log. And it's been done. Now, if I'd like, I can add it to a list. Let's say I'm going to add it to my personal library, physical. Done. Go back to my profile. It is my most recently played game. There it is. It is now on my games list right there. I can go to my journal. There it is. I'm going to show you all the journal in a minute. This is what it looks like. Actually, I'll show you right now. This is the journal. Very comprehensive. You can make it as detailed as you want. And yes, it does work on whatever platform. There's so many games. Almost every game is on here because it uses a database called the Internet Gaming Database. And you can add games if they're not there, and they'll approve it. I've done that, actually. There's a few games that were not there. Like, we did that multimedia cats game that was pretty much an educational game about cats from the 90s. Wasn't there, so I added it, and now it's here. Now you can actually add it as a game you've played. Look at that. Even the Chaos Edition of Super Mario 64 is here. I'm the only reviewer. But, yeah, very useful thing. Let's say, for example, let's go to our most recent Battlefield Bad Company list. If I click on this arrow, you can see my complete journal thus far for Bad Company. And here I've actually added notes that'll have a link. Unfortunately, you can't click it. I'm going to send them a request to make links work in notes. But there's the YouTube video where the VOD sits, the name of the YouTube video. I'll even include Twitch clips if I have them, stuff like that, just to have all those great details. How long I played it. All that good stuff. Here's the platform I played it on. Here's how I own it. It's physical. I'm playing it right now. Total amount of time I played it. Total 5 days in the journal. Last played, first played, and how long the playthrough is. So here's the playthrough. Screenplay Live is the name of the playthrough. My first time, how long it's been, platform it's on. Let me show you how it looks like when you have multiple playthroughs and stuff like that. Let's go to my playthroughs list. Okay, gonna filter it out. Let's go find one I have multiple playthroughs of. That would probably be Animal Crossing, actually. So it's interesting. I have different playthroughs for different things. So I have the off-the-cuff streams, which are games that I just stream off the cuff. No full playthrough, just picking it up and playing it. That was my first time ever playing it on the stream, so that's going to say it's the first time. And then I did a multiplayer stream in April, so I have multiplayer streams set as a separate playthrough. It's going to automatically make it replay because that's first time. How long in total I did that playthrough is right there. All that great information. And then, of course, our Bluejay's Island playthrough. This one is actually complete. So you can see here, completed. So let me show you what that means. This is actually really, really cool. So let's go to Kirby again. Go to Journal, Playthroughs. Click on this. So now here's the status of that particular playthrough. So right now I started it, so it's played. Let's say, for example, I finished the main game. I would say it's completed. Let's say we 100%ed it. It's completely done. We've done everything you could possibly do. You did everything. Mastered is what you could say. Now, retired is usually reserved for games that don't really have a true ending. So, like, if it's an arcade game where you just pick up and play it doesn't really have a story mode that finishes, stuff like that. Like, I have Power Serve 3D Tennis listed as retired. So, we had a playthrough, and then there was a day when I decided it would be retired. Let's say, for example, I retire this. Go to my playthrough, finish date, which would be, let's say I finished it today. Playthrough is complete. Started, finished, it is retired, for example. And then shelved, of course, if this is a game you're going to put away and you're going to come back to, you can list it as shelved. Abandoned, you're never going to come back to it again. It's pretty sweet. And you can update the status that it's currently in. Let's say it's completed. And then you can just do it that way. It's really, really cool. Very, very detailed if you want it to be. I love it. I'm going to go ahead and destroy this log because I don't need it, so I'm just going to get rid of it. And now it's all gone. All the traces of that game are gone. But it won't be removed from your lists, which is nice. The lists remain untouched if you get rid of a journal entry. So I'm going to edit this list that I have. I'm going to get rid of it because I don't own this game. Save it. And there you go. So let me show you the lists. Now, this is really fun. So if you love listing stuff, this is a great site for you. I have a list of all the games that I personally own in my physical library. This is what you'd see if you open up the cabinet that's in the living room. My personal digital library. So these are all the games that I have in my digital library. That could be PC games, PS4 stuff, anything I own digitally, I have logged here. Here's y'all's suggestion pool. So I've taken all the games that y'all have suggested in the Discord, and I've filed them all in here. You might see some multiples. I went ahead and did that because some different people may have requested the same game over time. I totally welcome that. Increases the chances of it getting picked. The same person, I recommend not suggesting the same game, but different people can do that if they'd like. I have details. There's of course details up here, links up here if you want. And yeah, I mean, gosh, games that I've borrowed that I streamed, games that I just simply borrowed. That's like actual status that you can have a game like I borrowed it. You know, that's nice. Screenplay Live, Season 1, Season 0, Season 2. So these are all the games that I streamed throughout Season 0, 2018 to 2020. All in order as they appeared, with notes. Here's a multiplayer game. You know, stuff like that. It's all got notes that you can fill out, which is really, really sweet. Of course, everything we did last year in order as they appeared. And then everything we're doing thus far. Really nice. All the games that I have shelved at the moment. All the games that, you know, we can stream online. So this is a great resource. If there's a game that you want to play multiplayer-wise, you can see if we've played it before. And you can be like, hey, we haven't played Doom since January 24th, 2020. We should play Doom sometime. Like, you can check here to see stuff like that, which is pretty sweet. And you can even look at the digital library if there's something here that I have, or maybe don't have, and you can be like, hey, maybe you should buy this game so we can stream it sometime. All the off-the-cuff streams. These are ordered by the latest appearance, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, it's really, really detailed. I enjoy the heck out of it. The latest title collection, those are the completed titles I've done, the mastered titles I've done, trophy hunt, PlayStation collection, retired titles, the dev mailbag, Twitch exclusive playthroughs. I have it all here. I have it all logged. It's a great resource for me, and it could potentially be a great resource for y'all if you'd like to visit it. I'll eventually put a link to this on my Twitch About page. It'll be everywhere, so y'all can easily get to it. And it's going to be a new thing that I'll actually be, like, touting. Like, hey, check this out. Make an account. Support this website. Because I just think it's so cool. I think it's so, so cool. And you can look into the things I've liked. You can look into my activity. And then my complete stats. The whole thing. So if you make an account for yourselves, this is what you're going to get to look at for yourself. This is what you're going to all get to see. And it's really fun to look at that. It's really fun to see what you've been up to. And that's backlogged. It's really, really cool. I spent a good couple of months getting this set up and building the journal from the very first streams all the way to the current day. Everything is here, and as accurately as I could make it, I've tried to get the amount of time we spent on the game as accurately as possible. Some of them are not going to be as accurate because TwitchTracker isn't the best, and I don't have the footage for those older streams, so it's kind of hard to get to. But by the time I got to Screenplay Live season with like God of War and onward, I was able to get more accurate numbers. So for the most part, it's pretty much there. It's pretty much there. Also, a tip for whenever y'all do decide to make your backlog and maybe you want to include links, you just do brackets, words, for example, and then in parentheses, link. And they all have to be next to each other like this, and then you'll be able to do hyperlinks like this. So click here to see where to find me, which will lead to my link tree. Level 98 is also linked. You can look at my trophy list thus far. So yeah, those are things that you can do. Or for example, when I was writing reviews, if I go to my Last of Us review, which is down here, you can include links in your reviews. this links to a clip. FYI, I only reviewed the games that are outside of the Screenplay Live canon, so like in terms of like the latest title stuff, trophy hunting, PlayStation Chronological Collection, like those games I'm not going to review until I actually do a video review on them, and then I'll actually like write out that full-on review. Do they have good support for retro platforms in the game library? Yes, and if there are any missing, you absolutely could put them there. The community has put this together essentially, and it's pretty damn good. Again, the Internet Gaming Database is community-based. People have put a lot of time and effort to make sure almost every game is on here. And if it isn't, you could put it in there. You can make it happen. Yeah, okay, let's find a game that I used to play on my Game Boy Advance. Galador. Look at that. Look at this little Game Boy Advance game. 1 star. I broke my first Game Boy Advance because I was so pissed at this. The game sucks. It's not good. And I tried so hard to figure it out. The platforming is terrible. It's terrible. I would spend hours trying to get good at it. It was ridiculous. And yeah, I'm so excited to finally like show this to everybody because I'm so passionate about stuff like this. I love logging. It is a hobby of mine. I love it and I enjoyed making it. And it feels really good to actually be done with it. Now I can actually utilize it as a tool. I'll update it after every stream that I do. At least every stream that involves a game, right? Like, obviously, this will not be in here. People need to make a backlog. And if you want, you can back them on Patreon. $3 a month. You can keep up with updates and be tight with the community. It's really, really cool. Well, I think that's about it, though. I pretty much gave you the full tour. That's backlogged. Obviously, y'all are sold on it. You're making accounts. That's super great. And can't wait to see what else y'all put on it. And I'll keep an eye on the activity. I'll interact with y'all. If y'all do any reviews, I'll read them. Like, thank y'all so much for getting involved. So yeah, once again, backlogg.com. I'll leave a link in the About section. I'll put it in the comment section, not the comment section, in the description and in the time codes, because I will archive this whole little tour. And yeah, there you freaking go, y'all. Enjoy.